President Trump could cure cancer tomorrow and rescue kittens from a burning building, and they'd still call him a piece of
Yeah, he's not politically incorrect. He's just regular incorrect.
I don't want to drain the swamp, okay? What I want to do is I want to drown these swamp monsters in their own swamp water.
You're not doing your political party any favors by being a political party favor.
You want to start rounding people up? Let's start rounding up these politicians that refuse to enforce federal immigration law. How about we start there?
Welcome to the show. This is Bernstein and Brad. It's our very first episode. I'm your host, Brad Chadford in Boston, and my co-host is Josh Bernstein, host of the Josh Bernstein Show, conservative commentator. And hey, Josh, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, obviously what everybody's talking about, which is President Trump's speech, as well as Bella Pelosi and Chucky Schumer's response to it. And the fact that we're at, 20 days now, and the government is still in a standoff. And we'll see who's going to blink first. So it should be very interesting.
So what did you think when you watched Trump's speech from the Oval Office? This is the first time he's done a primetime address. It's a pretty big deal.
Couple things. Number one, I didn't think he was strong enough. I'll be quite honest. I don't think he made the case strong enough. What I would have done is not only would I have called out the other side, but I would have given phone numbers and email addresses right to the national audience, to all of America, and I would have instructed them to contact Chuck Schumer and contact Nancy Pelosi's office and any Democrats that represent them and put pressure on them to kind of wake up and say, hey, we need to secure our border. It's much more important than political posturing and games. And
right.
I think
he did that to Lindsey Graham once. Didn't he give out Lindsey Graham's phone number on the campaign trail?
He did.
Which you could have gotten on Grindr at any time, by the way. So I didn't think it wasn't that big a deal. Or written really in any bathroom in certain bars in South Carolina. But that's not the point.
There has been rumors. I'll leave it at that.
Right. So when I watched the speech, I agree that it was not very strong. I expected him to be a little bit tougher. And my first observation was, there is no way that he's going to be president for another 2 or 6 years and not have some of that chiclet glue fall out during one of these speeches. Because his teeth are barely holding it. Come on, man. There is no way. When I thought of it, I thought I had this I went to Catholic school, right? So I had a brother, a Christian brother who's a chemistry teacher. This guy, Brother Paul, he was like 8 feet tall and he was old as dirt, but he had always this piece of phlegm that would develop like halfway during the class, and it would always end up flying out at some point. And the whole time you were waiting there just trying not to get hit in the face with the collateral damage of this thing that was hanging on the side of his mouth. And every time I see Trump talk, I think of that stupid thing. Like his dentures are loose, man. And I know it sounds like he slurs, but he doesn't drink, so it's really disturbing that he actually.
He's definitely not sloshed. But here's the thing.
Not,
I will say this: Bella Pelosi, I believe, probably has, either some type of deficiency with her memory, possibly dementia, Alzheimer's. Who knows? Many times she has said that she can't wait to impeach George W. Trump or Donald J. Bush. She said that on a few occasions. Really? I thought that her and Chucky Boy looked like, two parents, basically, when you snuck in when you were a teenager and all of a sudden you got caught and they were standing there going, hey, where were you all night? They kind of had that grimacing look on their faces. And I will say this, they didn't do enough to make their case either. Again, that's why I believe it's more of a stalemate at this point.
Well, no, they didn't do a good job at all. And the rebuttal thing never works, ever. We had Bobby Jindal, the Howdy Doody incident. Then you had Rubio with his silly little drink. And I can't think if there was another one. I think Joe Kennedy wasn't very good this last time.
No, he was terrible. He was the worst.
Michelle Bachmann looking at the wrong camera. That was really bad.
Yeah, and then you also had Nikki Haley. She did an okay job, but Joe Kennedy was absolutely the worst. Not only was
the best you're gonna do with that
he looked
speech
like
is
Howdy
not make
Doody
it
on Crane.
The best you're gonna do in that speech is not make a complete ass out of yourself and the worst is what Marco Rubio did. But in any
We're
event,
close to it, yeah.
So let's get down to the substance of it, since we're talking about the wall. I think it's an impractical and completely stupid symbolic gesture that's going to cost too much money, right? I know you disagree with that, but my point is they're making it seem as if you just put up a wall, as if that's easy, by the way, as long as it's 700 miles or however long it's going to have to be. You put up a wall and then you walk away from it and it just deals with itself. Well, it really doesn't, because unless you empty Mexico of shovels, rope longer than 30 feet, and any kind of climbing implements, then this is kind of a pointless exercise.
It's
and
not
by the way, as far as I know,
walls
Colonel Nathan
everywhere
Jessup
they have been put up. They
Colonel
work in China.
Colonel Nathan
They work
Jessup
in Israel.
of the United
They work
States Marine
in
Corps
Colombia.
clearly
They work in
stated in A
Africa.
Few Good Men that it takes men with guns to man walls. And who's going to do that? You, Bernstein? You're going to man the wall?
Here's the thing.
I don't think so.
The
I don't
bottom
think.
line
How
is
many
this.
guys are you going to
Listen
put
to
on the
me.
wall?
If these illegal aliens were voting for Republicans, Democrats would have shut down the government and would have went down there and built the damn wall
They're not
themselves.
voting at all.
You know that well as I do. Bottom
No, I
line
don't.
is walls do work. They protect us. And you're right. It is more than symbolic, though. And again, I don't think we just need the wall. I think we also need to get rid of chain migration. I think we also need to get rid of birthright citizenship. I think we also need to get rid of the visa lottery. And I think we also need to make sure that it's mandatory for E-Verify. If we put a wall up, and it's already been proven, certainly in the San Diego sector, that illegal immigration went down over 50% as soon as they put the wall up. Now, what you have right now is a border that is 1,954 miles long, okay? And right now we have 390 miles of fencing that was built, that's falling apart and dilapidated, that was built in 2006 with the Secure Fence Act. Then what happened is we lost Congress, and Congress did not appropriate the rest of the money to build the remaining amount of the wall. So far, President Trump has built about 190 miles with prototypes and things like that already since he's been president.
Wait a minute. No, come on, man. Where do you get that?
Hang on. Add the 390 to the 190, and you're at 590.
I'm not adding that.
Yeah, I am adding it because it's already there. There's
Where?
about 600 miles of the 1,954-mile border. Now, listen, I'm going to explain it to you. If we get $5 billion, that's only 215 more miles. Add the 215 to the 590, and you're still only at about 800 miles. We still have about another 300 or 400 miles to go. Why? Because the border has natural borders with mountain ranges and things like that.
I understand that. I think everybody gets that. I don't think
water
we need...
with the
I get
Rio Grande. So you're looking
Right.
at about 1,100 miles that actually needs to be covered.
Well, that
so
brings
we're
me
still
to
going
a
be
point.
short 300, which
That
is why
brings
we
me
need
to a point,
25
though,
billion.
about the Rio Grande. So what you're going to end up having to do is eminent domain a bunch of ranchers out of a whole bunch of land if you want to put a wall down near the Rio Grande, okay? So
You may
what
have
I
to.
want to know is why all of a sudden Republicans are all right with eminent domain, because this is sacrosanct. You can't possibly even bring it up with conservatives normally. But now you're going to go down there, and this is what I really get a kick out of, right? What do we have guns for in this country, right? Not for hunting.
To protect ourselves from invaders and our government.
And our government, right? So this is cute. I think this is funny. You think ranchers don't have tons of guns? Of course they do. We both understand that, right? So what's to stop one of these ranchers from saying, hey, man, the government's not coming to take my land. I'm going to shoot these motherfuckers. But now you're the government that wants to come take their land. You actually want people who have guns to stop the government from... If
Many
this is
of
an
those
opposite day,
ranchers-
I don't know what would be.
No, wrong.
This
Many
is
of
funny
those
to me.
ranchers
I
want
get a
the
kick
wall.
out of it.
Many of those ranchers want the wall.
Not at the expense of their own land.
Yes, they do. If they're going to get millions of dollars for their property, absolutely they do.
You think
they're
Donald
lining
Trump-
up to sell their homes?
And the
to
federal
protect this
government
border.
is known so well for giving fair price for eminent domain. We're going to actually go and just throw money at these people? No, they're going to get ripped off. And some of them are going to get pissed off. And maybe some of those guns that you guys love so much are going to come back to bite some people in the ass. I hope that doesn't happen, because
kind of like
that's a
Fast
bad
and
scene.
Furious with Brian Terry.
Don't give me the whataboutism. What about?
It's not
what about? I'm talking about something that might happen right now.
Eric Holder sold guns to Mexico, and they were used to kill Brian Terry, a border agent.
You want to litigate that stuff from 10 years ago again? That's fine.
You just brought it up.
We're talking about a legitimate situation. I just think it's funny that all of a sudden you guys are for eminent domain, confiscating land, and you're going to do it to people who have lots of guns and have those guns to protect them.
We don't have a country. Okay?
Okay.
And the Democrats don't want President Trump to win this battle because they understand if he wins this battle, then he's going to get reelected in 2020. They also understand if they can dig in and fight him and get the Republicans to fold in the end, then they know that he's going to be a one-term president.
Well, I'll tell you who's going to dig in.
Political Alamo right
Mexicans
now.
are going to dig in underneath this stupid wall and get into the country anyway.
They're not going to dig in under any kind of wall. That is a bunch of crap. Okay.
El Chapo
and don't
could dig
this.
right now.
Me a 50-foot wall, and I'll show you a 51-foot ladder. That's another.
If you
bunch
gave
of
El Chapo a handful of thumbtacks right now in the prison that he's
Chapo
he could tunnel himself. He could tunnel himself into the Situation Room. All right. So I don't want to hear that he couldn't get underneath the wall. Are you kidding me?
Ain't gonna happen.
You can't be serious with that.
Not the way that we're planning on building it. Ain't gonna happen. We're talking.
That's like saying Palestinians can't dig
with spikes on the top, so you can't climb it.
That's
and
like
it's going to
saying
be on
Hamas.
an angle, so it's
That's
not
like
straight
saying
up.
Hamas can't dig a tunnel. That Mexicans can't dig tunnels. They can dig tunnels, right? They do it. They dug under fencing before.
Hey, you know
they dug themselves out of jail.
If they start doing that,
but just like Palestinians are digging under the
why don't we build a moat around the entire border and fill it with alligators? Go ahead and try to dig through that.
You're getting obsessed. You're throwing basically you're
I'm
swatting
not
flies
obsessed.
with a baseball
I want to
bat.
protect
Because
everybody, including Democrats.
You want a big symbol. You want a big
not a symbol
on the border. That's what you want.
It's a lot more than a symbol. It's a lot
It's
more
just
than
a big
symbol.
middle finger, is what it is.
Hey, ask the Israelis how good walls work, okay? And they'll be able to tell you clearly that
because it's a
prevented
country the
many
size
terrorist
of Maine. It's a country the size of Maine.
So what? They have
It's a little bit easier. It's a little bit easier to secure.
To survive.
Look, it's a little bit
You've got
easier
the
to
Iron
secure
Dome.
a place
There's
that's
a lot of
smaller than the
things we can
city of
do.
New York. Yeah, okay.
Huh?
I think that's a ridiculous comparison. I know Netanyahu's your boy and he's Trump's boy, but that's a comparison.
This. All President Trump has to do is have the balls to instruct the Pentagon, direct 20 to 25% of the Pentagon's 2019 fiscal year budget to building the wall, and direct through this defense secretary, the Army Corps of Engineers, to use 2808 Title 10 and build the wall. End of story.
You want the Army Corps to build this?
Democrats will lose the battle, and they'll lose in 2020.
You want the Army Corps of Engineers to build this thing?
Absolutely, 100%. I want to go around Congress, and as a conservative who believes in the Constitution, I'm putting that on record. Yes, it is time to stop pussyfooting around with these Democrats that would rather have Americans dead than secure, and let's go around Congress and build the wall. Absolutely, 100%.
You know what? I think we should just let you do it. This is one of those things that I'm just going to give up and say we should allow you to do it.
We should.
Because
let's do it.
You should have, because I want the Army Corps of Engineers to build something under the instruction of Donald Trump, right? Because here's what's going to happen.
Yes.
He's going to put this thing up like
declare
every other
state
project
emergency.
he's ever built, right? Anything bigger than a golf course, he's not going to be able to do. And the Army Corps of Engineers couldn't build a tent to keep people dry in New Orleans, let alone some levees that they... I mean, there's a litany, an absolute litany of construction projects that the Army Corps of Engineers has made a complete fuck out of. So if you want Donald Trump to manage a project that the Army Corps of Engineers actually executes, I think that's an awesome idea, and I give up. You win.
We've got private construction companies. We've got private architectures.
No,
architects.
you win, man.
We've got all
I
kinds
want you to
of
do
people
it.
Down there.
I changed my mind. You changed my mind. I want you to do it now because I want to laugh and point when this thing goes all to hell.
It ain't going to go to hell. The only way this goes to hell is if the Republicans become chicken hawks and back out because they're afraid that these government workers are missing a couple of paychecks. Let me be as clear as I can. I have absolutely no pity for anyone right now that's furloughed at all, and I'll put it on record. You know why? Because if you want to get back to work, then contact Nancy Pelosi, contact Chucky Schumer, and contact the Democrats and put pressure on them to come to their senses and come to the table and give President Trump the authority to protect all Americans. Mic drop. Boom! Brad, it's been an absolute pleasure doing the show with you. I look forward to doing many, many more shows with you, kind of like a Hannity and Combs type situation, but with a little bit more edgier material, of course. But you know what this has proved, Brad? This has proved that we can actually be friends on the air and off the air, and we can have a civil discussion without throwing at each other, number one, or hitting each other over the head with a bike lock, number two. And more than anything else, I hope that this shows the audience that we can still have political discourse. We can agree to disagree, and we can still do it in a civil way. And I just want to thank you for doing the show, and I look forward to doing more shows with you here in the future.
Well, hey, man, I agree 100%, and I'll look forward to future intercourse with you at a later date.
I ain't going that route.